Hello, everybody. Am I excited this morning? I got the best news, but I'm going to tell you first about this hat. I love this hat. This hat came from Amazon, and I just love it. I got it at a yard sale, and I was at this yard sale, and the man said, you know, that hat runs $45. I said, I'm at a yard sale. He says, well, I'll tell you what, I'll take $5. I said, I don't care if it's a name brand or what it is, I'll give you $2. He said, okay, I'll take it. So I got this hat for $2. And see what's so good about it? When you're out at a yard sale, you can keep the sun out of your eyes. You can keep it like this. You can wear it like this. And this thing is magic. Look, I'll fix my wig first. I was going to wear another wig today, and I forgot all about it, but now I'm busy doing this, and I got to tell you this important news later that I'm so excited about, so hang on. But I'm going to show you this hat. See, you do it like this, and then you can just roll this thing up right like this and put it in your pocket, and the next time you wear it, it can be big again. I tell you what, if I was a really, really rich woman, I'd order me some more colors because this blue color don't go with anything I'm wearing this morning. But who cares? I'm 90 years old. I could not care less. Enjoy it anyway. All right. The good news is this. Jared King TV, who has the Appalachian Stories on YouTube, who number 3 and I watch all the time. We love him. He puts on such interesting stuff, and he's got a lot of stuff on. And I got a little note from him this morning that said he watched my YouTube and he shared it with his people. Now, is that sweet? He looks like a sweet young man, and his blue eyes are just gorgeous. I still can look at a good-looking man and admire them, you know. We don't lose that, do we, girls? We don't lose it. We're still here. So thank you, Jared. God bless you. I really appreciate that. Some of these times, I'm going to tell you today about my mother-in-law. You know, she was from down in the hills, from Tennessee. They lived at La Follette, Tennessee, nearby, but it was like Cherry Hill or Cherry. Anyhow, it's way back away from La Follette, Tennessee. And she was a real hillbilly woman, and she talked hillbilly, and I was from Indiana, and I talked like Indiana people. But she would say, have y'all got enough kiver in there? Kiver. Cover, she meant. And if somebody was in the hospital, she'd say, well, they've been in the hospital now. Or if the police need to be called, she said, we got to call the police. Police. She talked strange, but Buddy, number 1's daddy played the mandolin, no, the banjo. He played the banjo. Okay, so I'm not good on instruments. I know guitar because that's what my mama played, and that's what number 1 played. And when he was a young man, just a boy, 14 years old or such, him and his daddy would go on a Saturday night walking across those mountains with a lantern in their hand to play music on somebody's front porch together. And Buddy's mother was so jealous of Papa because he was good looking and he played the musical instrument, and she knew all the women was after him, and that's who they wanted, she was sure. And she hated it. Every time they went to play music, she just had fits. But he'd go anyway. She couldn't go. Women was not invited. She told me all about it. She told me a lot of stuff. And I tell you, that woman, they raised chickens. She could go out to her chicken lot, pick her up a chicken, wring its neck right like that, and it'd go bouncing off somewhere trying to walk. And we'd have it for supper because she would have her water boiling hot on the stove. And she'd say, here, clean it. And I would clean the chicken, and I learned how to cut up chickens and do all that kind of stuff. My mother-in-law taught me how. Her name was Belle. And Belle Wilson. And she wore her hair in a big knot right back here, and it came down past her waist. But once she put it in a little turnaround, it wasn't much. And she never worried about killer bras. She didn't wear a bra. So after I married number 1, I said, because hers hung down to her waist. I am not lying. I said, have you ever thought about wearing something to get them up a little? She said, no, not really. I said, well, you know, you can get them out of the catalog and we can figure out your size and order you some. She said, okay, let's do that. So that's what we did. And you know what? She was so glad to get something that would hold them up out of her way while she was working. It was a practical thing to do. And we did it for her. She taught me a lot of stuff, really. And one time, me and her really had an upset. I don't know what in the world it was about, but she made me so angry that I told number one, and the twins were about 7, 8 years old, and Kim was just small, like 2 or 3 years old. And we was at her house for supper, at Mama and Papa's house for supper. And this was up in Indiana because they moved to Indiana after a few years. They moved away and bought a little 11-acre farm up here in Memphis, Indiana. And that's where Buddy lived when I first met him. But anyhow, she taught me how to do a lot of stuff, and I appreciated it but she talked different, you know. But we got into it for some reason or other, which I don't remember. And I said to my husband, I said, I'm in the car and I'm going home, and come on, we're going right now. Well, I've always been bossy. So he just came on with the baby, and we got in the car, and he was getting ready to start it and stuff. And I said, you know what? Wait a minute. He said, what now? I said, you know what? Let's just go back in there and have supper. He said, all right. So I just led the way back to the house, went in the house. I said, what do you want me to do? She said, well, go ahead and cut that chicken up. I'm getting ready to fry it. I cut the chicken up. We fried it. She made gravy and biscuits. And gravy and biscuits are delicious the way she made it. And we never mentioned whatever it was ever again. And I learned a lesson that the more you know, if you have a disagreement, the more you discuss it, the worse it gets. So let it go. Forgive it. Forget it. Let it go. Don't talk about it anymore. All you do is just drag up more stuff that upsets you again. So we never discussed it ever again. And we never had any more falling outs because she was a sweet lady. So thank you for looking. That's about all I have to say today. You know, look at this. I'm a bright-eyed little old woman, ain't I? I never knew I was that old until I looked in my iPad. Y'all remember how I got started. The way I got started was I was going to take a selfie. And anyhow, I said, you know what? You don't look too bad to be 90 years old. I believe I'll talk a while. So I just talked a while, and I said, I believe I'll put that on YouTube, which I didn't know if I could figure it out or not, but I did, which is a miracle of God. Sometimes I still think it's a miracle of God. So anyway, I love the Lord, and Jesus is my Savior, and I've trusted Him for a long time, though I might tell you sometime about how I kind of backslid. But you know what? I always regret, and I'm truly sorry, and He's a fair and just Jesus, and He truly forgives you and puts you back on the right track. And I'm on the right track now, folks, but who knows what's going to happen. It's up to Him. I trust Him. So God bless you. Have a great day. Have a beautiful day. And go the path that He would have you go, that He would be pleased with the way you're going. Thank you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Now turn it off.